make the difference.
Well, Royal 2, I mean, I just mentioned that Sab, a 1.67 KD. Royal 2 has a 3.64 KD on this map and mode combination. He's been disgusting.
We're underway, on board with Royal 2. Not quite the start of the series. Is it still too early to say shields up weapons? Either way, we are now on board with Sabinator. 4 dead for Shopify Rebellion, and the perfect start for Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9, if they can kind of shut down Shopify Rebellion early, don't allow Shopify to get set up and show that dominance that we've seen over and over again, then maybe C9 can just get a little bit of a lead here, just ease their way into this game and shut Shopify Rebellion out.
Sometimes that might be the issue. Will Shopify Rebellion even give you the opportunity to set up, to get comfortable, get your feet under the table, collect with the camouflage and the sniper rifle, hesitant and reluctant to shoot. Does finally reveal himself over towards the nest, pops the shields of Frosty, but doesn't manage to hit the head, so Frosty's going to survive for now. Sitting back green. And unfortunately, Collect did not clear it. You've got to clear your corners. Body shot from Frosty. Already finding great value with the sniper rifle after Collect's, I don't want to say, I'm hesitant to say blunder, but it was definitely a misplay.
Well, I mean, oh wow, okay. We mentioned how Collect was kind of willingly and freely, daintily running around the map against Z10 and just having a field day, right? It was like a playground for him. However, it's going to be very different here. You have to be aware of your angles, have to be aware of positions where you can potentially be pushed by, and it is not going to be as free as it was in the previous series.
You have to ward off complacency. That could be the enemy. Because the first series didn't really put you to the test, you've got to make sure that you do not make slight errors against Shopify Rebellion, because they'll punish it.
And it is a tale as old as time with some players that are very good against teams that are lesser than them or perceived lesser than them, but they really struggle against the big teams because they just fear the names they're going up against and maybe doubt their own ability. And I really hope that is not the case for a player like Collect, but it's been a difficult up and down road for Collect in his career. Be that global, for a time he was being touted as the next big thing. He was gonna be that global superstar, but in the end, you look at names like Cycle and Last Shot instead that have really kind of taken that throne.
And for Collect, he's been a little bit of a journeyman as well, right? He's been on so many different teams and for Collect, he's been a little bit of a journeyman as well, right? He's been on so many different teams and ultimately being dropped. He hasn't really found the right fit, and perhaps with Cloud9, this is a little bit more his speed, a little bit more his style, that he can start to showcase some of his skills and ability. Currently sitting at 1, 2, and 5. He needs to pick it up, as do the rest of the team, but it's 59-40 at the moment, so Shopify Rebellion will only a slender lead, and this is actually pretty competitive for Cloud9.
Yeah, slender lead, but remember, Cloud9 did start initially with a good advantage here. They will get a tri-cap again, and they are going to be able to get taken down by Royal 2, so he's found that camouflage, and if Royal 2 starts to go to work, if he gets anywhere near that average KD I was talking about on this map, it's going to be so difficult for C9 to do anything, because when there's that many kills going in favor of the opposition team, you're just going to find yourself in the death screen far too often.
You mentioned if Royal 2 goes to work, it looks as though he is clocked in, ready to go. I don't know if he gets paid by the hour, but one thing, he does a lot of damage on the server, and I think it has to be said, well, congratulations to him. He's just become an uncle, and indeed to Royal 1. A massive congratulations from us, the team, on the birth of your baby boy. Gorgeous. But for Royal 2, he's finally actually hit Unk status.
He has. Look at you. You become a dad, and now you're aware of everyone else's babies being born.
You're tapped in, something else is unlocked. It's like a skill tree you didn't know you had access to.
But I'm sure he was delighted to hear that news from his brother, but now he can lock in, knowing that everything is well at home, and look to try and win a trophy here in Salt Lake City. And it looks like that trip cap is going to be reversed now. Shopify Rebellion will gain control, and it has been heavily off the back of Royal 2 controlling the map and finding kills here.
Slides in.
I thought he was about to absolutely blast Cycle in the head.
It's like he hesitated for a second because he wanted to hit the face instead, but Sab just ducks on the sniper rifle scope, and unfortunately that means Royal 2 will fall. So finally, his reign of terror has come to an end. Green being threatened to be converted, but ultimately Last Shot goes down. A and C now will flip, as will B, so a lot of shenanigans happening on the map, but Collect's got the sniper rifle to play with 3 bullets in the magazine.
So it's been a bit of a tug of war, and it's been a heavily scored tug of war as well. One team will score 40 to 50 points, and then it transfers over to the other. And what that demonstrates is both teams are good at holding the setups when they have them, but also both of them demonstrating a great ability to break setups at the same time. But they're just taking their time to break those setups, which sometimes you have to. If you start rushing out one by one, and just feeding kills, it's going to offer too much to the other team.
I think it's important, isn't it? You recognize that, okay, we're down in numbers. This is not the time to try and push and break the setup. You recognize, let's give away a few points in the short term to set ourselves up for something better in the future. And Royal 2 hitting some lovely shots on the Booba back tower.
Must be so nice to play alongside a player like Royal 2 with the way he commands a game and the way he can just find a relentless amount of kills. You get that freedom. The freedom I was speaking about that Collect had in the series against Z10, you get that as a player if you have someone like Royal 2 on your team.
I think it instills so much confidence in you, right? Because you never have to worry about what's going on his screen. You know he's making the right plays, and he is always going to be hitting those shots. But a triple kill. Speaking of hitting shots, it's Count Dubu going to work.
Clocks in, but then sadly has to clock out after the triple, and he will be taken down. Cloud9,
Short shift. Short shift.
Short shift, but a very important one indeed. Cloud9 do start to score once again. It's not going to be a trip cap this time though, which could be significant because they're not going to catch up as much as Shopify Rebellion just try and take their time here, regroup to get back up to a 4 before they push, but it looks like they've been able to just split them up a little bit so they can move over towards A. Good shots by Cycle.
Good from Cycle then. Starts to convert B for his team. Steps outside to contest. Settles for a trade with Sab. Now it's a numbers advantage for Shopify Rebellion. They now control A and B. And it's whether or not they're looking for the C cap as well. Looking for the triple to really lock it in and score as many points as possible. Sab's going to spawn over here towards A. Frosty hits the body shot. That's all he needs. Sab tries to run away, but absolutely cut down. And the Iceman hits the face as well to follow.
If he had hit that third one, I think my headset might have been thrown across the room. It's very good early signs from Frosty if he can start to do stuff like that. When he's cold, imagine what he's going to do
He's
when he
always
starts to
cold.
warm up.
He's always cold. Cold as the bathroom floor, they say. He's not done. Ooh. Sab just about gets away with it. World 2 is there to spare the blushes though. 3 dead now for Cloud9. That's going to mean B will be converted again, and Booba Dooba is going to spawn right into Royal 2's crosshairs. That's not where you want to be.
There's been a really good passage of play for Shopify Rebellion to now gain a 60-plus point lead, going up to 70, and I do
That
think
was
that
safe from you.
Cloud9...
Oh, you didn't want to do the math. 60-plus.
60-plus.
Played it safe.
I was going cross-eyed, just looking at it and counting up, because they were still scoring, but Cloud9 now may have just let this one slip a little bit too far away, because even if they do regain some control, get a trip cap, it's still, there's plenty of time for Shopify Rebellion to regroup and take an attack here.
They have really given themselves a lot to do here. It's a 3v3 on the map for now, though. Booba Dooba is going to be in a 1v1, settled for a trade. Camouflage for the last shot. That's bad news for C9, though. A and B in control of C9, but can they hold it now? Because Shopify Rebellion can play this one patiently and just wait for an opening, wait for a pick, and it might come now, and it does. Last shot gets the opening, but it gets traded by Abusi.
I will say one of the biggest differences has been the sniper rifle control and the ability to hit those no-scopes. There's one thing you'll see from Shopify Rebellion, in particular Royal 2 and Frosty, they really do command the game with no-scopes. They are constantly finding that body. They don't necessarily need to find the head, they just know they need to tag that body, do the damage, and then it gives them the advantage on the map.
Sometimes it is just better getting the guaranteed damage, making sure that the player you're fighting is going to be one shot for either you or a teammate if he runs away. But Cloud9 are keeping this very competitive, Dan. All of a sudden now, starting to grow in confidence, starting to get back into this game, eating away at that lead.
The Frosty Royal 2 pinch happens though, and they will pick up 2 kills. Potentially it's going to be a third, will be a third, because last shot was waiting on the other side of it, of the QT, and now Shopify Rebellion finally will regain control. I say that, there's competition, and B will not be taken. So that's good acknowledgement from Cloud9 to say, look, we can't just give these up for free, we have to start fighting harder for them.
So B will remain in control of Cloud9 for now. Is there a player in position to get the reset? There is now. Sab will fall down bottom middle. Cycles in the respawn screen, but has just popped back up again. So a slight numbers advantage for Shopify Rebellion now. As Frosty sits top middle, waits for the sniper rifle, pops the shield, Dubu eliminates him from the equation as well, drops down and skips away with the sniper rifle in his hand.
Yeah, this is big for Shopify Rebellion. As soon as they didn't have the sniper rifle, when it ran out of ammo, that's when Cloud9 started to put more points on the board. But now regaining sniper control, can they take advantage once more? It's Frosty's time to shine, and again, just another no-scope. Big impact moment from Frosty.
And the issue is, he looks to be in a precarious position there, right? He should not get a kill. In a 1v2, it should be an easy cleanup, but that's what the best players in the game do. When they don't have the advantages, they still manage to make something happen, a little bit of magic, and you equalize the equation.
Although Booba Dooba with a flank does able to at least get the pick and get one of the members of Shopify Rebellion, but off spawn, they are so quick to join one another and make sure they force that trade, and now it looks like maybe we're getting to the final stages here as, again, Shopify Rebellion scoring.
I almost feel like so much has happened on the map that we haven't even really had an opportunity to peek in and see what's going on cycle screen, and we're not even going to get the opportunity here. Because Shopify Rebellion will close out the game, and he hits the shot, although it might not even have counted on the scoreboard. But what does count on the scoreboard is Shopify Rebellion won to the good.
They are spawning separately and taking advantage of having that extra player on the map. As already we get kills underway, Boobadooboo's gone down, as has Frosty, and Last Shot falls 2.
Royal 2 faced with 2, and he's got 1 in his back as well. So the Cloud9 Swarm is successful. 3-1 on the scoreboard. Map control, though, not really set in stone at the moment. Both teams still jostling for position in the early days. 2 members of Shopify Rebellion positioned over towards the locker, or closet, depending on what you want to call it. Engine, some people might even say. Lots of call-outs, but it is one solid position and a good one to keep control of if you're on your team. So 3 dead now for Shopify Rebellion once again. This is a good start for Cloud9.
It's another hot start for Cloud9, similar to what we saw in the previous game, and it's going to keep going. 8-2 now, another double from Avucci. Lottie was asking, how was he playing in the previous? Well, now we're getting to see him on our screens, on the main stage, and seeing how he fares, not just against any odd team. It is against Shopify Rebellion, one of the best teams.
For Shopify Rebellion, it is really the question, Dan. Where are they on the trajectory from our first major? Are they trending upwards or downwards? Because, of course, the last one, they beat Optic Gaming, but they fall to FaZe. So lots of question marks still around this team. Are they able to get the job done over the likes of Optic Gaming in the big series when they get to a grand finals? And this is the perfect time to answer those questions.
Yeah, and often I would sometimes put it down to game types and say, maybe the game types just weren't in their favor. But when you've lost to Optic now across several best of 7s, that's when you start to be concerned of, do Optic just have our number when we get to these best of 7s? Because they beat them in the best of 5s, which sometimes can be very dependent on the map schedule. However, when it gets to best of 7, you've got that extra little bit of leeway, and maybe Optic's map pool is just a little bit deeper than Shopify's, or it was at the previous events. Perhaps that's something they've been working on coming into this one. I
think you make a great point. You do have that in the best of 7, that little bit more margin for error. You can drop that extra game that would be proven a little bit too costly in the best of 5, but at the moment, a 2-kill advantage for Cloud9. Boobadooboo and Sab will fall, as will Avucci, so Royal 2 will venture forward over towards bottom Carbine. The player sliding out towards front yellow as well. Last Shot's got the camouflage. It's back-to-back now for Shopify Rebellion. So just like that, power-up's being scooped up, and Shopify Rebellion doing a lot better job of navigating the map.
Could be another camouflage to work with here for Shopify. Remember, there was an 8-kill lead for Cloud9, and that has very quickly disappeared.
I'm mad at Frosty. I'm upset.
Hey, as long as the kills go in your favor,
nope,
you don't need the overkill. He might care about it later on, but he's like, I did almost have an overkill on main stage, didn't I, Frosty?
Can I talk to you and break you down and take you to my head lore?
Let's just take a minute.
My head lore.
Yep.
Last Shot and Breaking Shot are both brothers. They just don't know it. That's my head lore.
Long lost brothers.
It's the Shot brothers.
Yeah, I can see it happening. Both very good at Halo, so that helps. It does back up your theory. At the moment, Last Shot has not needed backing up at all. He has instead just been a one-man army pushing, trying to find these Cloud9 members who are a little bit all over the place, but finally gets called out, and it's still going to be a Cloud9 advantage, but only by 1.
The game has slowed down considerably here as well. Both teams acutely aware of the stakes, as it will. 3 dead for Cloud9. About to be 4 as well. So now, Shopify Rebellion, this is where you worry for Cloud9, because you can start to manipulate spawns, you can start to stagger them, and you can see immediately Cloud9 are putting the back foot. And Shopify Rebellion know exactly where they are. Sabin and 1v1 will get taken down, so that's a great opening just to relieve a little bit of pressure and take some space for C9.
I think the biggest difference is going to be if we see Shopify Rebellion take a lead like Cloud9 did of around 8 kills, it's unlikely you'd see Cloud9 coming back from that. And I think that is what separates the likes of Shopify Rebellion and Optic Gaming from the rest of the field, is they are far better at closing out those games when they have those kinds of leads. I think a lot of teams, especially the teams around kind of 5th to 8th seed, when they have a lead like that in the very early stages, they are still full of adrenaline. They're still full of, oh, we've got these kills in the early stage, let's keep pushing them. And then they throw away an 8-kill lead. You would kill for that kind of lead towards the end of a game. If it was 48 to 40, you'd be thinking, all right, this game's done. But suddenly at 10-2, you would just allow the other team to get in because you give away stupid kills.
And you ask the question is, Will Shopify Rebellion allow Cloud9 back into the game with a significant lead? They had 6 kills, not quite the 8, but close enough. And we've seen Cycle able to survive with the camouflage and down to a sliver of health. You know he's being called out, he's being screamed out, he's down to a little bit of wind might take him out, but in the end, they have now cut that 6 down to 4. Still a lot of game left to play here. 7 minutes on the clock, so that won't be a factor just yet. Bubu and Sab combine to pick up another couple of kills, so all of a sudden within 2, within touching distance now. And then Shopify Rebellion on the back foot. That's going to help relieve some of the pressure. Royal 2 gets a kill with the help of Frosty. But Avusi will answer back and trade that one out. The 1v2 for Frosty, slides forward, gets the trade. Good from him. As Collect will go down. But he'll take Frosty with him. 1 kill now. The difference between the two teams.
Yeah, Cloud9 have done very well at ensuring this one doesn't run away from things, and they've done that by pretty much pairing up whilst they've been running around, or at least ensuring they are within distance to trade out these kills so that Shopify Rebellion don't manage to get too much of a lead. And just like that, Cloud9 will regain the advantage here. So I said, how would they do when they're down by a significant amount? As you said, it was only 6, but that still shows they have the grit in them to come back even against Shopify Rebellion here.
Do they have the killer instinct? That's going to be the question now, because we're heading towards the business end of this Slayer. That's when your decisions matter most. That's when the pressure starts to ramp up. And any little mistake can cost your team the game, whether it's individual or team-based. Camouflage has just popped up. And these two teams will now fight for it.
Big camo.
Avusi and Co back down though into the locker. So it's Shopify Rebellion who have map control. They're going to slide forward, and the camouflage has now been scooped up without much of a contest at all. And the reason for that is they just didn't have the lines of sight because they were all trapped over towards Closet.
Again, you can't allow it to be that easy. This camouflage, I said it was a big one. It could be the last one that we see as we go into now the last real stage of this game. Royal 2 has it. It's a 2-kill lead, only 7 now required, and they are hunting down Cloud9 because Royal 2 provided that info with the camo, and they were able to just sniff out this C9 roster, who now find themselves on the back foot.
The final knockings now, as Cloud9 have started to turtle up. Royal 2's camouflage has now just dissipated, so nothing left to play with. It's going to be all bandits on the map. But all 4 members, make it 3 members of Cloud9 over towards this plaza area, with 1 player still positioned over towards the base. But unfortunately, 2 members go down. Avusi's in big trouble now because they know exactly where he is. He's going to get headed off the pass. Down to no shields. Royal 2 takes care of business. 2 kills required. Make it 1.
Great collapse from Shopify Rebellion as they just do not allow anyone from Cloud9 to escape. Good kill from Collect to keep this game alive, though.
1 kill. Seems only a matter of time. It's a question of if, not when. Sab takes damage, down to no shields, gets taken care of by Cycle with a Shoryuken. And now Shopify Rebellion do manage to spare the blushes. They do not drop the Slayer. And they're 2 games to the good now, with 1 away from a clean sweep. Although in games 1 and 2 they didn't take a game, they were definitely competitive. And if they just maybe altered the strategy, made a few less mistakes, they would have seen a little bit more success. But we're underway in game 3 now. Cycle's gotten a kill. Royal 2 got a kill, but off the good work of Cycle. Now Rockets will be his reward. Booba Doobu falls. Now the world is Cycle's oyster.
That was a confident player as well. Oh, well played by Collect. The Rocket will still connect in the end, but Collect recognizing it was going to be Rocket Launcher he's going up against, just sliding past that initial rocket. And just like that, by the way, blink and you'll miss it. It's a 1-0 lead for Shopify Rebellion.
I think I did blink and I did miss it actually. Where did that flag go? Off in a hurry. So the worst possible start for Cloud9, it must be said. But did the sniper rifle get scooped up by somebody? Has it been rescued? Or has it fallen into the hands of the enemy? Cloud9 put it to work.
It is worth noting that Shopify Rebellion do have a 75% cap success rate when they pull a flag, but that would have gone up with that one because it was a pull.
It's probably an 83% chance. No, it's rough maths.
Suddenly they look that little bit better, and now they can take control of this map. And again, if you go 1-0 up, and you do play the way that we expect them to play, if that flag gets pulled far enough that they just say, all right, we'll leave it, we'll let it go, the back and forth would end up in favor of Shopify Rebellion.
Well, it was interesting when you mentioned how for Cloud9 they have a 75% stoppage rate.
Yep.
Rebellion have a 75% cap rate. So is that some sort of rock, paper, scissors game we're playing where they just keep throwing rocks at each other?
Well, maybe not enough rocks were thrown by Cloud9. Shopify Rebellion were able to bypass them all. But what seemed like an easy flag, just because we were watching what happened with the Rockets, as the flag will be taken here by Buru. Now this 0% flag stop rate might change
it's about to take
right
a hit.
here,
it's about to take
right
a hit.
now, as they are returning the flag. And just like that, the statistic is completely wiped off the face of the earth.
It was fun while it lasted. We had a good time, we had a good run.
Great run. Whenever there's a 0% or 100% start, you've got to talk about it until it gets deleted.
Didn't take long for it to be deleted. 2 minutes against Shopify Rebellion. Frosty in the window. That's not exactly where you want to see. He's done a little bit of peep and tom, but a bit more damage. Sab's back base needs help. Booba Dooba over towards the cave. Sab will eventually get taken down. Frosty, will he be able to get away without taking a lot of damage? The answer is yes. 1 tick is all he received. Avusi, the last man alive, over towards the maze. Have they been keeping tabs on him? The answer is yes. Down to no shields. Frosty though, loses him for a second, but not enough to spare any real damage. That flag will keep on moving and grooving. Royal 2. 2 to the good now for Shopify Rebellion, not only in the game, but in the series. 4 dead for Cloud9 once more.
We're saying now like an 85% cap rate. Could be going up as well. Another flag is going to be moved. Royal 2 has eyes on it as well. Cloud9 find themselves 2 dead. And this one could be very quickly won by Shopify Rebellion if they are not careful. You need a heroic play here, and maybe Abusi can do it here. Nope. Nope. Denied.
Access denied. Doesn't have the grips. Royal 2 will go down. That's a big kill for them as well because he was doing so much damage up there on his perch.
Flag did drop though.
What's the return right now? 2 players descend on it. It does get sent home, so Cloud9's day is not going to get much worse. Frosty though has just seen a sniper rifle pop up on his screen, although he wasn't able to put it to use. He now knows exactly where his position. He passed the information over to Royal 2, and he's a man that can put this to work very quickly. Booba Dooba loses his shield over towards Pyramid. He backs away towards Lights then, and will continue to be an influence and a nuisance for Cloud9. Finally shut him down, but not before Royal 2 took the shields of 1.
Yeah, shouldn't have really been able to connect with that shot. I don't think they're going to get punished for it, but again, that is exactly what Shopify Rebellion have been doing all series long. Just getting that extra little bit of damage, just to, even if it doesn't result in a trade, what it does do is it slows Cloud9 down, because suddenly you have to back off, you have to regain your shields, and by doing that, you are not gaining map control, which allows Shopify Rebellion off spawn to instead push up with their teammates, and they have map control yet again here.
It is that. It's just applying that little bit of pressure to make the opposing team hesitate just a touch, because every second they burn is a second gain for Shopify Rebellion. Speaking of time gained, flag's already at almost the halfway point. 40%. There we go. Booba Dooba, not long for this world. Last shot spins in a dime, lines up Avusi, but he's not going to show himself for now. But unfortunately for him, Royal 2 will be there. There was an unofficial 4 dead for a moment. Last shot should be able to bring this one all the way home without much contention whatsoever. Last shot slams it in. Shopify Rebellion complete the clean sweep.